Finance Council to order. And Madeline, could you please call the roll?
Yes. President Masterson. Senator Alley. Senator Sykes.
Here.
Senator Bellinger. Senator Bellinger.
Present.
Thank you. Speaker Reichman.
Here.
Representative Hawkins.
Here.
Representative Sawyer.
Here.
Representative Waymaster.
Here.
And Governor Kelly.
I'm here. Okay, thank you. All right, I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the June 24th meeting.
I move approval of the minutes of the June 24th meeting. Representative Sawyer.
Representative Sawyer, thank you. A second?
Representative Hawkins, second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. Okay, so the only item on the agenda today is the request of the Recovery Office for approval of Spark Executive Committee recommendations. I think we've got the Lieutenant Governor, David Tolan, here to provide an overview and answer questions. And I also believe that State Hall Deputy Secretary Peter Brady is available to answer questions. So, Lieutenant Governor, could you please give an overview?
Certainly. Thank you, Governor Kelly. At the July 15 Spark Executive Committee meeting, the committee approved recommending to the State Finance Council the spending of $11 million in coronavirus relief funds, or CRF, from the CARES Act for unemployment surge support at the Kansas Department of Labor. These funds will provide continued support for increased staffing to answer the roughly 28,000 calls a day the agency is currently receiving, and allowing the agency to operate a variety of complex pandemic-related federal unemployment programs with its legacy mainframe system. Since March 2020, the Department of Labor has paid out over 4.5 million weekly claims, totaling over $3 billion. And so this $11 million will allow the agency to continue this level of surge support and system stabilization through the end of August. And as the governor said, I believe we have both Budget Director Adam Proffitt and Deputy Secretary of Labor Peter Brady, who are here to answer more detailed questions that members of the State Finance Council might have.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for either Lieutenant Governor Tolan, Deputy Secretary Brady, or Director Proffitt? Okay, hearing none.
This is Senator Bellinger. I don't know if it's as much a question as it is a comment, but are we going to be using these funds to increase the amount of folks that are working on these folks that are in adjudication?
Let me have Deputy Secretary Brady respond to that.
Yeah, thank you, Governor, and thank you, Senator Bellinger, for the question. The quick answer is yes, these surge resources are there to assist claimants. A lot of what the surge resources are able to do for us is the calling and fact-finding for adjudications issues. So this does help us continue to get adjudications issues resolved quickly. Members of this council may recall that in August of 2020, the adjudications backlog was very substantial, upwards of 25,000 issues that needed to be adjudicated. Today, we largely stay timely with those, and these resources are part of what allows us to do so.
Well, I'm still getting emails from folks that haven't been paid since December, since we changed to the new program, and every time I call in on all these calls, that's what I keep hearing. Well, it's in the pile. And when folks call, they tell them that it could be a week, it could be a month, they don't know. And it seems to me like we need to focus on that. If we have people in Kansas that legitimately need help and they haven't seen a check since December, that we need to focus on that.
Okay. I think we hear you, Senator Bellinger, and concur. And I believe that the surge funding will help us respond, even if it's not as quickly as we all wish it could be. So any other questions for any one of the three?
Governor Kelly, I have a question.
Kelly, I have something as well.
Okay, who is that speaking?
Ron Reichman.
Okay, Mr. Speaker.
Thanks, Governor. I was able to ask Deputy Secretary this question at Spark, and maybe you can repeat your answer. You know, I asked if some of these funds, maybe the funds were greater just because we're still continuing to $300 extra a week for the federal assistance. The Deputy Secretary said it was very minimal. You want to kind of clarify that for folks that might be listening that wonder why we're continuing to spend additional money, especially when both chambers voted to end at $300 a week. And that $300 a week is not adding to the cost that we're approving today.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I'll just kind of provide a brief elaboration on these funds and how it's impacting the federal program. So, you know, while there is a cost to continuing the administration of the federal programs, what we are trying to service today and what these funds are going towards is the continued improvement to customer service, our ability to answer phone calls as they relate to any of the pandemic programs, not just the additional $300 that's tacked on via federal pandemic unemployment compensation. What this is also helping us do is two very important things. One, there's a lot of what I would call downstream issues in the unemployment space. So in addition to the initial claim and performing adjudications and getting someone on the payment path, there's also issues related to assisting employers with their tax statements, appeals of issues that claimant may have been denied and they appeal that issue and we have to process that. All of these resources help us do all those downstream impacts, which regardless of the status of federal programs is something the agency is still required to do by federal law. Additionally, our agency has been working very extensively over the past month with the Modernization Council, cleaning up a lot of these issues in our system, addressing claimants, making sure everybody is paid for the weeks they're entitled to, allows us to ensure that our data set is as clean and ready as possible for the modernization process. Anybody that's really interested in that, I'd be happy to talk to separately or look at the recent meetings of the Modernization Council. One thing we heard from other states and vendors is that the one thing our state will need to be focused on is ensuring our data set is as clean and ready as possible for starting that process so we can move forward expeditiously. Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions?
Governor Kelly, I have a question.
And this is whom?
Representative Waymaster.
Okay, go ahead.
And this will be probably a question for Lieutenant Governor Toland. You had mentioned that the $11 million is coming from the CRF or the CARES money and not the ARPA funds that was approved earlier this year. Is that correct?
That's correct. And I believe we have Director Profit on the line as well.
And then my second question is, how much of the CARES Act money do we have available?
Let me give that one to Director Profit.
Yeah, Representative Waymaster, this is Director Adam Profit. The CARES Act money, the CRF funds were largely already obligated or expended. I believe there were some recoupments across a few programs that made some of these funds available to use for this purpose. So we wanted to make sure that we allocated the funds that had an earlier obligation date to make sure we did that. I don't have the exact number for how much is available right now, but we can chase that down with the recovery office and email it out to the group by the end of this week.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Governor Kelly.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, any other questions?
Governor Kelly, this is Speaker Reichman again.
Okay.
Just to kind of give some clarification, I think Representative Waymaster's question, there's probably around $22 million left from the last bunch of money. The State Finance Council, you remember, voted last November. Any additional funds not spent would then go directly to our unemployment trust fund. And so this is basically 11 million that could have went there, but obviously based on the concerns that have been generated and even with Senator Billinger's questions, 11 million was needed to continue to prop up the Labor Department. There still should be around $11 million left that can be used for other purposes or ultimately go to the unemployment trust fund.
Okay, so noted. Any other questions?
this Senator Billinger, I have one additional question. You mentioned there was like 28,000 phone calls a day. Is that correct?
Secretary Brady?
Yeah, thank you, Governor. Thank you, Senator, for the question. It varies day to day substantially. So towards the beginning of the week, we see a higher volume as many folks choose to file their claim via phone instead of the web. USDOL does have an accessibility requirement that states provide at least 2 avenues for individuals to file their claims. So in Kansas, that is either online via our website or over the phone. So during the beginning of the week, we see a higher volume as many people file their weekly claims for the previous week. And then it kind of tapers off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That being said, too, I would caution against conflating that direct number with the number of outstanding issues. There are many individuals that choose to call the contact center just to make sure everything is okay with their claim. Throughout the journey we've been on over the last 18 months, many individuals have had issues that have prevented payment with their claim. So they call somewhat frequently to ensure that everything is still on track and payments will be occurring. And that's kind of part of our customer service. In addition to providing support to claimants, we're also providing support to the employer community as they get their tax notices. If they have questions on that or anything they want to appeal or dispute, we can work with them on that. So that is kind of the rolling average. It runs about 28,000 calls per day, but I just kind of wanted to provide a little more context as to what specifically that number might mean.
Do you keep track of how many of these are new claimants, that people that have just been unemployed that are trying to draw for the first time, and how many of these are just repeat, like you said, that are just calling every day because they haven't seen a check?
So, Senator, we have a weekly unemployment review that we publish on our website each week. Additionally, one thing we've been providing recently is in our work with the Modernization Council, kind of a more detailed report of the information and metrics we have. There are some numbers that are hard to get at just with the fact that we have a legacy system. One thing that's come up frequently in the Modernization Council and that everybody on that council has been aligned with is our new system should really focus heavily on having solid reporting. What I can tell you, just looking at the past few weeks of data, generally speaking, we have somewhere between 1,200 and 2,000, probably about 1,500 average new initial claims filed. That today is somewhat similar to the level we had pre-pandemic. It's also important to note that an initial claim filed does not mean someone who is eligible or entitled to benefits. So a portion of those claims will end up being found not entitled or not eligible for UI benefits. So I hope that kind of addresses your question. And Senator, or anybody else, I'd be happy to elaborate more.
Thank you. Appreciate the answer.
Very good. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, I need a motion to approve the resolution for the Spark recommendations.
Representative Sawyer, I move we approve.
Okay, we have a motion. I need a second.
Senator Sykes, second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Madeline, could you call the roll?
Yes. Senator Sykes,
Yes.
Senator Billinger,
Aye.
Speaker Reichman,
Yes.
Representative Hawkins,
Aye.
Representative Sawyer,
Aye.
Representative Waymaster,
Aye.
Governor Kelly.
Aye.
We have 6 votes in favor plus the governor. And the motion passes.
Okay, very good. Well, that actually concludes all the business we needed to conduct today. I need a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn. Representative Sawyer.
You've got a motion, second?
I second it.
All right.
Representative Waymaster.
And all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, very good. Thank you all.